Back at it again, and we've got to talk about Mr. John Legend. Yeah, he recently made some interesting comments about the Don, aka Uncle Trump. And I want to get into that, but then I also want to show you guys some of the reaction to his comments, and it's a little surprising, and that's why I think it's noteworthy and why I'm going to show you guys the reaction. But with that being said, thank you guys for all of the continued love and support. Like, share, comment, and hit that subscribe button if you are new. And let's dive in.
One of the things that you hear from Trump's supporters is that he signed the First Step Act in 2018. He's a partner in this effort. What do you say to people who say, "Oh no, he would be an ally. Look what he did in 2018."
He's not been an ally. I mean, I think the First Step Act was fine. It was a very kind of small reform, and to be honest, most of the reform we need is on the local and state level, because most incarceration is local and state, and most of the laws that end up being criminally enforced are local and state laws. That being said, at the same time, he's claiming credit for those small things. He's also saying, if people are stealing something, they should get shot in the middle of the store. When we protested the killing of George Floyd, he was advocating for the military to shoot us in the streets. He's made it clear throughout his life that he believes black people are inferior. Like, he believes that to his core, in his bones. He wouldn't let us live in his buildings back in the day. But also, when you hear some of the stray comments he makes, he clearly...
All right, I gotta interject just a little bit here. That's all a lie, every single bit of it. For example, not letting black people live in his buildings. He was actually housing a black homeless woman, and I showed you guys that story like last year. A black woman who was homeless went into one of Trump's towers, and the workers there, the staff, called Donald Trump and was like, "Hey, we've got this issue here at the building," and Donald Trump said, "You know what? Let her stay there. Let her stay." And make sure she has 3 meals a day, and every single week make sure she has a fresh bouquet of flowers. You never once have seen Donald Trump brag about that, talk about that, in order to defend himself when any of these attacks are levied against him. He's never talked about it, ever. The only reason why we know about it is because the woman herself made a video, because she was seeing what was going on. And she made the video and released it. And I believe she was, the last I heard, she had stayed at Trump Tower for 7 years or something like that. Completely free. Completely free. Free food 3 times a day, right? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And a fresh bouquet of flowers every single week. Black woman, right? But I thought Trump was racist, though. And what's also funny about that is, and I believe it was Charleston White who perfectly said this, but I'll repeat it. Nobody called Donald Trump racist until he ran for president and won. Before that, nobody was saying that. Nobody. Not a single soul. Show me the video where somebody was calling Trump racist before he ran for president. Show me. It doesn't exist. That's a lie. It's all BS. He's not racist. They just don't like him.
Believes in a genetic hierarchy of humanity and is racially determined. So he is a tried and true, dyed in the wool racist. In the core of his being, he's a racist. So I don't want to hear what he has to say about what he's done for black people. He's done very little for us. And he is, at his core, truly a racist. And you even hear what he says about immigration and which countries he wants people to come in from. They all are very white.
That is true. That's something pretty universal about them. So I knew you were active on the campaign trail in 2020. You have a lot on your plate. Are you going to be out there campaigning for Joe Biden this fall?
Yeah, we'll get out there probably later in the year as it gets close to people making decisions about when it's time to vote. I think the choice is very clear. We've there's a lot been said about age and all these other things. Both of them are old, but one of them is a really decent man who's done a lot to improve lives in this country, and that's Joe Biden. That's who I'm going to be voting for, and I'll be out there supporting him.
They're both old. Yeah, they are both old. That's about the only fact. You said that entire time. Sure, they are both old. But getting old isn't a problem. We're all going to get old. At least we hope to, right? There's some people who won't get that opportunity. But that's why getting old is a beautiful thing. There's a lot of folks who will never get that opportunity. We all know some of those folks, or I guess technically knew some of those folks because they're no longer here, right? Folks that will never get to see the age of 30, never get to see the age of 50, 70, right? So getting old is a wonderful thing. It's a beautiful thing. It's something that we all hope to get to, right? Hope to achieve. And once again, it's not the age that's the issue. I don't give a crap if you are 150. Yeah, I know I said some ridiculous age, but I wouldn't care if you were 150, as long as you can get the job done, right? And you're not embarrassing this country on the world stage. I'll support you, right? I'll support you. For example, I'd vote for a guy like Thomas Sowell, right? I don't know his his physical ability at this point. Obviously, I would have to see that first. But in terms of what I have seen from Thomas Sowell and what I know about Thomas Sowell, I'd vote for the guy, and he's well into his 90s, I believe. Yeah, I 100%, 1,000% would support Thomas Sowell. As long as physically he was still able to get the job done, and also at least as far as I've seen, and it's been a little while, but mentally as well. Now, John Legend was talking about how racist apparently Donald Trump is. Well, to John Legend, I say this. Here's my response.
Even back in the old days when we had real segregationists like Eastland and Thurman and all those guys. But at least we end up eating lunch together.
Biden recalling his early Senate career, bringing up two segregationist senators, Herman Talmadge and James Eastland, who called African Americans an inferior race. I was in a caucus with James O. Eastland, Biden said. He never called me boy. He always called me son. At least there was some civility. We got things done. We didn't agree on much of anything.
The senators that he is speaking of with such adoration are individuals who made and built their reputation on segregation. The Ku Klux Klan celebrated the election of one of them.
As also noted, Robert C. Byrd was a parliamentary library, a keeper of the institution of the Senate, and he was the institution itself. For a lot of us, he was a friend, and he was a mentor, and he was a guy.
He was a what? He was a friend. And you notice how they always say former, right? And this is my thing. Even if you were a former member, if you're giving the eulogy at someone's funeral, you didn't just meet them yesterday, right? Because this is what Democrats try to do. Well, first off, they deny that he gave the eulogy. But even when they do finally admit it, they say, oh, well, he was a former member. Okay, let's run with that then. Let's go with it. He was a former member. If you give the eulogy at someone's funeral, you didn't just meet them. So that means Joe Biden knew him while he was an actual member. Just saying. If you give the eulogy at somebody's funeral, you know them very well. You didn't just meet them. You've known them for many, many years, to the point where the family of the individual is happy to have you go up on stage and speak in front of everyone at the funeral. So yeah, maybe he was a former member, but that means Joe Biden was his friend when he was a member. Yeah. And that's the guy you want me to support? That's the guy you want me to vote for? That guy? But let's continue on.
guy.
Back in the early 1970s, Biden bragged about an award from the notorious segregationist Governor George Wallace and told the Philadelphia Inquirer, "I think the Democratic Party could stand a liberal George Wallace, someone who's not afraid to stand up and offend people."
I would not be a member of the United States Senate if those men that he praised had their way.
One chapter receiving fresh scrutiny comes from his earliest years in the Senate, when he strongly opposed mandatory school busing. It was designed to achieve integration and a more equitable education. What's less known is how he followed the lead of some of the Senate's most fervent segregationists. On March 25, 1977, Biden wrote, "My bill strikes at the heart of the injustice of court-ordered busing. It prohibits the federal courts from disrupting our educational system."
Yeah. John Legend, that's the guy you want me as a black person to go out and support. Now, I want to show you guys some of the reactions from John Legend saying what he said. Now, I had this post on what I would consider a leftist Instagram account, right? I don't know who actually runs it, but I would consider, it more left-leaning than anything, right? Well, look at the comments. Okay, so you got, John Legend shares his thoughts on Donald Trump as he advocates for pretrial freedom. He is at his core truly a racist, is the headline here. Okay, first comment, "You a singer, bro. Shut up. Stick to singing." "Look at this Illuminati puppet. It's sad, but Biden not racist." Laughing emoji. Okay. "Your wife literally be throwing up satanic symbols on TV. Ain't nobody trying to hear SHIT you talk about. Stick to singing. Trump gave you stimulus money. Forever love you, Trump, for that, Unc." Here's a nice one. Whoa, we finally found one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 down, you finally got one positive, right? And it's only got 3 likes. "Use another celebrity to brainwash black people again." Palm face emoji, laughing emoji. Question 1, what has Donald Trump done to harm the black community? What has Joe Biden done to harm the black community? Excuse me. John Legend is confused. "And your wife and Biden is not?" Got it. "I know why he don't like Trump. And this is not the only reason. SMH Pizza. Hey, if you know, you know about the pizza." So obviously, the tide is shifting a bit. Now, I'm not saying, all folks are waking up and realizing that it's a load of crap and it's all BS. But I do feel like a good number of folks are waking up and realizing, bro, they do the same thing every 4 years. Every 4 years, Joe Biden and Democrats come out and try to pander to black people and people of color every 4 years, right before the election, and say, hey, we're the good guys, we're the good guys, we're the good guys. Those guys over there, they're the bad guys, they're the bad guys. It's the same messaging. Oh, and it's going to be the end. It's going to be the end if you don't vote for us. You guys remember, I vividly remember, and I told you guys this because it's funny, considering, everything that's going on. But I vividly remember P. Diddy, campaigning for Democrats some years back, and the slogan was "Vote or Die." They do this fear mongering every 4 years. Vote or die. Some of you probably remember that, right? Some of you have said that you were Democrats right along with me. So I know for sure some of y'all remember that. Vote or die. Every 4 years, man. But I'm happy to see that people aren't buying the BS anymore and waking up to these celebrities bought and paid for. Or they have something that they don't want released to the public, Somebody is dangling something over their head. Hey, fall in line or else. What do y'all think it is? Are they getting paid? Or are they getting blackmailed? Or maybe it's both. Some are getting paid, and some got a little blackmail, They got some things. And, wasn't it John Legend's wife that said some real questionable things online at one point in time? Wasn't that John Legend's wife? I could have swore I remember seeing something about she was saying some like real questionable stuff. I'm not gonna repeat what she said because it had some things to do with like, the little ones amongst us, kids. I'm not gonna repeat it. All right, not here, not now. But I believe that was her. I could be wrong, though. I could be wrong. Y'all let me know in the comment section, all right? And let me know what you thought about this in the comment section below. Like, share, comment, hit that subscribe button before you go. Peace and love. I'm out.